So that's our first conversation this morning. On Wednesday, the National Consultative Front, promoters of the Third Force movement in Nigeria, set up what they call a shadow government, a movement to save Nigeria from misrule and incompetence. That's the way it's been put. Two gentlemen are joining us this morning to understand what this is all about. Dr. John Ekundayo is a Harvard-certified organizational strategist and leadership development consultant. He joins us here in the studio. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Sam.
As well as Dr. Unisa Tanko, Head Public Affairs Bureau, National Consultative Front. He also joins us virtually. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah, so let me just begin with you as the head of Public Affairs Bureau of the National Consultative Front, just so we have a background. Exactly what does the NC Front mean by a shadow government?
If you could remember, some kind of, we came out as a group to amplify the need for us to come out collectively to put something different into the table in our political space. This group, of course, consists of political leaders, technocrats, intelligentsias, and common Nigerians who are tired of the status quo at the moment. And the NC Front moved a motion that we cannot continue to keep quiet in the face of frustration, in the face of deceit, in the face of complete annihilation of the people, the level of insecurity, which is so high, economic crunches biting hard on Nigeria. And so we must take up this mantle of leadership as good citizens to make alternative positions for the Nigerian people. And when we come up with this issue of the shadow government, as you all know, the shadow government, according to Wikipedia, is just a group of public people who enshrine themselves in the hearts of the Nigerian people, establishing alternative ideas on how government can't be run. And this, of course, is not to say that we are opposing the state as a government, but rather we are opposing the policies that have not given or yielded the dividends of democracy to the Nigerian people. And I know quite a lot of people will have been wondering, how do we intend to do this?
Well, we'll come to that, Dr. Tanko. Just a second. We'll come to the details, all those details. But Dr. Kundayo, what's your take, your initial reaction to this?
Thanks, Ayo. Actually, my take to this is, well, talking about shadow cabinet or government at this time, it's a time. That's the way I will start. It's time in that this is President Muhammadu Buhari's second term, almost even coming to an end. So if there should have been a shadow cabinet or government, it's supposed to have been at the beginning of at the inception of the first term, or maybe better still, at the inception of the second term. Now, this is 2020, let's just say 2022. So the rest in 2022 to February 2023 is politicking and leadership succession. Is it? So really, because when you are talking about shadow government, it's about you want to match who's in charge of maybe works and infrastructure. Okay, this is what it's supposed to do. It's about addressing policy, you know, and reassessing things, security, this and that. But we are at the tail end of this administration, and I think, you know, it's a time.
Well, there are those, Dr. Tanko, who say, wait, shadow government works better in a parliamentary system of government. Why in this government, we're practicing a presidential system of government, but it works better only in a parliamentary system of government and with the opposition party? I don't even know if NC Front has any officer at all in any of the national assemblies or national assembly chambers or even the state assemblies.
Okay, Ayo, there is nowhere in any book that says that it can only be practiced in a parliamentary system of governance. Remember, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. And power does not reside only on the hands of those who are elected. Power resides on the hands of the people. So, by definition, as I've already told you, it's a government that is a shadow cabinet meant to really augment and give alternative solutions to the ideas and policies of government. So as a people, there's not also any time that I say that probably is the right time for us to come out and challenge the status quo. With all due respect, as good citizens, we've given ample opportunity of time to this government for them to put their acts right. And unfortunately, they are not being able to do so. So it is behold on the good citizens as we are to come up and give solutions. As you also recall, government has always come out to say one of the problems that they had is issue of insecurity. And they will always tell you that insecurity problem is a business of everybody. So we take it up as our business, as citizens. So also the economic situation is business of everybody, and we take it up as our business. The issue of health is the business of everybody, and we take it up upon ourselves as as our own business. So there is no perfect time. In fact, I think the time is more than right for us to come out and say, look, enough is enough for this level of insecurity. Enough is enough for the unemployment of our youth. Enough is enough for the decay in the establishment, such a way that the establishment itself cannot even tell you exactly a concrete fact of what they are doing. And so, do you expect us as good citizens to keep quiet and wait till a particular time when the country completely collapses? I think it's not correct. And that is the reason why majority of Nigerians think that it is the best time for us to start giving alternative solutions to most of the problems that is bedeviling the country.
Okay.
As a front, remember, we are just a movement at the moment. So the idea of whether we had an opposition in government or so, we don't at the moment now. But I can tell you one thing: majority of the members of the NCF, some of them are chairmen of political party. I am one, and there's a lot of other people who are political party chairmen. So very soon, Nigeria will see an emergence of a new political party that will galvanize Nigeria towards that. And we don't want to wait. Remember in 2015, this particular government said they want to take over power. They canvass across the country, everywhere, and they make a lot of promises. Only when they took over power, and what did they say? They were surprised to meet the decay in the system. We don't want to be caught in the mud. We want to be prepared. And we are presenting our policies to the Nigerian people so that they can critique us, take a look at it. Where there is correction, please make correction. Where did we have, please accept our suggestion. And now I think government will be better for it because we are giving them free consultancy.
Well, there are those who will be wondering if this is, if there's an end game somewhere, Dr. Tanko, but we'll come to that. Now, to you, excuse me, Dr. Claire, there are those who think, I mean, a shadow government in the presidential system of government is supposed to be a parliamentary system of government thing, and it's supposed to be from the opposition party, not just, you know, a group of people who just pull themselves together.
Yeah, like in the Western region government, I mean, during the First Republic, to say, when Chief Obafemi Awolowo was the leader of opposition in the parliament. Really, in the presidential system, well, you could still have a shadow cabinet, shadow government.
Can you give us an example of where that has happened in the world?
It's really hard, and really searching through and see what has even achieved. That's even the point I want to go into. It's not just about, and I could hear Dr. Tanko talking about, solutions. You see, shadow government is like shadow. It's like your shadow, my shadow. It's actionless, as far as I'm concerned, and all through history. You have not found a place where you have a shadow government, shadow cabinet, making any decision.
But don't forget that, was it in Miami now that the U.S. government is actually talking to some opposition, shadow government, so to speak?
Now, it was because you have a junta, a military that's there, just like you have the NADECO. You see, when the NADECO, they had to do a lot of things. Professor Wole Soyinka was involved. Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, who's present governor of Ekiti State now, had to be involved. That is military, wanting to send the military junta away and stop the military intervention. So, but this one now, we are in democracy here is a presidential system of government. Now, the question I will have put to Dr. Tanko
Oh,
is
you
this,
can still put the question.
and this is, what is the outcome of this shadow government? Because we are looking at election coming now, 2023. By 2022 now, we have, primary elections that will take place. So what is the outcome? If you have this shadow government, you are involving all these people.
In other words, how will the shadow government be effective?
How will it be effective?
Well, Dr. Tanko, that question is to you.
A very good question. We have a cabinet of 18 cabinet, and our interest is that every team will work out. They are technocrats, they are well-grounded individuals who have excelled in various fields. Now, what we ask every one of them to do is that the government has an issue of security. Everybody knows that. What we offer as a solution. The government is having problem with the economic situation of the country. What do we have as a solution? The government is having problem of how to employ our teaming youth. What do we have as a solution? The government is having problem on how to unite this country across the division of religions, and what do we prefer a solution? So each of the team.
Well, Dr. Tanko, it's not a problem of ideas. I'm sure you.
In that case,
just a second.
Ideas.
Dr. Tanko, it's never been a problem of ideas. You know that. It's never been a problem of policies, solutions, and all those things. I think the question Dr. Ekunai is asking here is, so you proffer the solutions. Who is going to execute it? How will it be executed? Just as you said earlier, even this current government, just a second, even this current government at the time when it was just an opposition party, came up with all kinds of ideas, all kinds of solutions, all kinds of propositions, and getting into government, you, as several others in the political sphere, are having complaints. So question then is, how will this make any significant difference given the situation, that we have in our hands in Nigeria?
Okay. Key issue here is that when we provide a solution, Nigerians can see the difference that probably the government has failed in administering solution in this direction. And what we don't want to have is government in our hands in the future, and we are not prepared. So we want to be prepared to give solution to give actionable answer to most of the solutions that we are preferring, so that you can hold us responsible in the future, that Dr. Tanko said we can do this, or Chief Peter Ame said we can do this, or Adebale Adewayo said we can do this, or Professor Pat told me say we can do this. So we are adding up our solutions and actionable solutions to provide solution to it in the nearest future, when God Almighty give us the opportunity to take up power. And if the government of the day finds succor in what we are giving as solution, let them implement some of the suggestions that we are making. And believe me, it's not true to say that anything that we are doing that is only a shadow. No, I can tell you that the government is listening. I can tell you that they are looking for solutions. I can tell you that they are looking for people with good ideas. And if they get these good ideas, they can use it and implement it. And who will benefit from it? You and I will benefit from it. Government is about the people. It's not about one individual people who are in government. People should come up with good ideas. We are not closing our doors. And so the idea is that if we can think with solution to a security problem and we put it on the public domain, and if the government doesn't take it, we are waiting in line to take it up and provide it for the people.
Dr. Tanko, you haven't still answered that question that I asked earlier. The same thing that you are saying now is exactly the same thing that this current government said when it was in opposition, that they have solutions, that the power situation, for instance, is going to be a thing of the past within 6 months. Unemployment is going to be a thing. In fact, we're going to create X million jobs in X number of days, weeks, months, or years, and on like that. And a good number of people, well, incidentally, Twitter is still banned in the country. Otherwise, you would know, people would easily go scurry the internet and find out all the promises that the opposition party, which is the government of the day, made while they were in opposition. So how is yours going to be different? Why should anyone say, okay, Dr. Tanko's team, all the, eggheads that they've put together, they have these brilliant ideas. Let's just give them a chance. They gave a chance to some people before, and this is what they have. So how's yours going to be different?
Ours is going to be different in the case that there's a mutual contract of agreement between us and the people. These ideas that we are presenting is not only our own ideas, it's people's ideas. And since they are the ones that are giving us these particular suggestions and solutions to the problem, it's a partnership of solution. And we can only test these partners of solution only when we are in position of power. And so we are seeking in the future to have a position of power so that we can really practice what we preach. And what we are saying quickly is that we want to do ABC. We are not saying that it's Tanko's ideas only, it is the people's ideas higher. And it can only be practiced only when I have the opportunity to do that. So at the moment now, we have put ourselves on the line and we have put ourselves to the Nigerian people and say, look, it is what you said you want. Look, there's a simple analogy. In an area, some people may just need a gutter to carry out probably the problem of erosion and all that happens in the area. Then you just come and then as a leader, you just started giving them a video, TV, audios, and all of those displayed on the street. They don't need that. What they need is gutters and culvert. And so if what the people need is ABC, we are assuring them what they want is what we will give them. And so that then we can work together as a team. So what we are asking for is an opportunity for us to provide these ideas and solutions as we think it's good in a partnership with the people, and then a platform of governance for all to actually put them in this. I cannot read down, we cannot do that outside, but we can only give and advocate on it, and this is the way we think these solutions can be.
Dr. Kunaya.
Yeah.
You wanted to respond to something?
Yes, I want to respond. You see, because he said something. He said, we could not do this from outside. Like you said, you rightly pointed out, this present government was in opposition before. People like, Governor El-Rufai now, was speaking. People like, some other, I don't even want to mention some state actors now, present state actors now, who were in the opposition before. Oh, even the present minister, Lai Mohammed, they were all speaking against insecurity, against this. Now they are there. You see, so, and we can see that, you see, like I once had under a leader who said, until you walk in my shoe, don't criticize me. And the present state actors now can know. When some of them were criticizing the government of President Jonathan, now they are there in that shoe, in that seat. So they could see how things, in fact, some other things have even gone outside of it's like security now, insecurity now, that we are all seeing. So he made mention of that thing, and that's why I'm asking, what's the outcome of this thought for? Now, if I can be a pro bono, if I can do something for them, consultancy pro bono, for Dr. Tanko, don't pay me for this. It's what they need to do, what we need to do. I want to tell you this as a leadership consultant, and as somebody who did a lot of research on followership. That's where I did my PhD research. What the thought force, you should have concentrated on the thought force aspect. What is it that APC is leaving behind? What is it that PDP failed to address in 16 years in leadership? Now, almost 80 years in leadership, APC, what have they failed to address? Those are the gaps strategically. As a strategist, I will tell you this. Those are the gaps for you to address in going back to the followers. In Abia, in Katsina, where a commissioner was even killed inside, inside his own house. Those are the things that you have to do. You have to go to, Kogi State. You have to go to all these areas, mobilize, sensitize, galvanize the followers. You see, you can see I'm speaking with passion. It's not about shadow government. You want to be, you are on the sideline with maybe against, with Fashola, as Minister of Work. Now you now have your own Minister of Work. What are you going to do? You cannot even tar 1 kilometer road. You cannot. So that's it. It's just like a shadow. The shadow of a man is just there like that.
Yeah, but the point that he is making is perhaps some of the policies that government is using, running on, is that perhaps those policies are not strong enough. They are not effective enough to solve the problems that government has on its hands. And that he's saying that as a shadow government, they will come up with better alternatives that are like suggestions to government. Okay, you don't have this, so we're giving you this information by way of advising you. If you do this, you're likely to get better results.
Now, what I'm saying is that it's seemingly late. You see, because advising government at this time, even when they want to even act, to me, it's late. Rather, because it's third force, National Constitutive Front, it's actually part of the third force, or maybe synonymous. They should actually be looking at, how can we make something better? Something better. How can we make some things to happen in 2023?
But isn't that what isn't that what the whole thing is about? They're talking about coming up with policies, alternative policies, alternative suggestions that can make things work better. That government, if government would consider it, it'll help them produce better for Nigeria. And if government does not take it, they are on the sidelines waiting to be engaged.
You have not seen that strong political platform. They should be working right now. Are you unbeaten? Let me tell you, and this will happen, and mark my word, it has always been happening. I'm a researcher. Go and look at it. You see two opposition parties. They are always, one of them is always winning the election in Nigeria. There has not been any exception. Anybody, I'm now on live television, anybody, I've written on this, I've researched on this. So when you say third force, we are not seeing your weight. Dr. Tanko, tell Professor Patu told me. You see, go and mobilize. Look at the answers. Look at all the youths. Go and mobilize these people. Go back to them.
Let him respond to some of the things that you've said. Go ahead, Dr. Tanko.
I was so elated when my learned colleague is giving, he said free consulting. No, sir, you did not give a free consultancy. What you just did was performing your civic duty as a Nigerian. And you had not said anything different from what we are saying. We have also looked at, we've done an x-ray of some of the things that the past government of the PDP have done and that of the APC. And that is the reason why we have all of these things to research and give solutions to what they're saying. So when you talk about galvanizing the Nigerian people, I'm sure if we have not come out as a government, will not be sitting on this stage to be discussing the issue of shadow government. That is part of galvanizing. That is part of advocacy, that's part of speaking to the Nigerian people. That is the idea of people who sit down and think, we need to challenge this particular government in areas of their deficiency and provide a solution in a way to galvanize the Nigerian people to think towards our own direction. And I want to assure you that I'm not the only person on this particular platform mobilizing. We are mobilizing on the grassroots, we are mobilizing on the street, we are mobilizing the intelligence, we are mobilizing the political circle, we are mobilizing the Nigerian labor people. We are asking every Nigerian that it is time to come out and speak. And I want to ask this simple question. Would it have been very okay if all of us had kept quiet and continue to be massacred, just like as we just cited the issue of a commissioner being killed in his home? If Tanko or Professor Patti Tomi or Wale Okuniyi or Peter Ame or anybody in Nigeria has kept quiet and then we keep on sitting down in our bedroom, that all is all, we will not be engulfed with this particular failed state. And that is the reason why we came out in our large numbers to say, no, enough is enough. Nigerians must come out in their large numbers to come out and provide solutions to our problem. Okay. Look, governance cannot be left in the hands of people who have been elected alone.
Well, Dr. Tanko, just a second.
I must also be involved.
There's something that you wanted to talk about earlier. My sincere apologies for butting in. There's something you wanted to talk about earlier. Just a second. There's something you wanted to talk about earlier. How will this shadow government work? You'll tell us about that as soon as we're back from this break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about the proposed or initiated already, actually, NC Front shadow government. Well, Dr. Tanko, you were talking about a number of things, and there's something that you wanted to talk about earlier that paused you on. How will this shadow government work, and how will it be effective?
Okay, what we intend to do is not only to criticize policies of government. We want to each of the cabinets is having 5 minimum number of a team, and they will be kind of have documents with regard to what is available at government disposal at the moment. And so when government make positions as regard to electricity, for example, we should be able to research and look at what government expenditures are with regard to issue of electricity and what modus operandi have they put in place in finding solution to that. We can give alternative ideas on how we think their politics is counterproductive or whether it can work in Nigeria. And that is how we intend to take it to agriculture, security, and all other areas of employment and all. When we present these documents and when we respond to the issues publicly, we will also like to submit some of these particular documents for government so that they can be able to use them accordingly. If they fail to use them, they become our own document to be used in the nearest future. So we are preparing ourselves not to be taken by surprise. We will also get information as regard to, as I said, what is available in government hands so that it will not look as if you are only criticizing government without fact and figure. You should be able to criticize what you see that is wrong, and then you must be able to take up the issues based on fact that is available to government use so that we will be at par. It is the passion that we have to the love of Nigeria that we are all doing this so that nobody will sit down and say, look, we only sit down as armchair critics and not finding solutions to our problem. Well, this is how we put it on board.
Dr. Tanko, when you say all information available to government, does this also factor in the Official Secrets Act?
No. When we talk about Official Secret Act, if the government wants our help, they can give us, we can give solution to it. But basically, we will not be interested in areas that we know that has to do with secrets of the state. But if there is available information in that regard that could help us find solutions, for example, to the issue of bandit, to the issue of secession, to the issue of economic downturn, we will be glad to have it so that we can also help in finding solution to it. Because look, if we say we leave the government of General Muhammadu Buhari only to the people that he finds succor in leading him, we have failed in our constitutional right as Nigerians to have help in building a new order. So what we intend to do is to look at what is available. Like the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a public document. It's a public document, it's available for everybody. Okay. We can know XYZ is apportioned for the road in Kaduna, for example, and then we will find solution to it. Look at the situation we find ourselves. It's so bad to a point that if you want to travel from Kaduna to Abuja, a Christian needs to do 2 or 3 days prayers before he can go, or a Muslim has to do 2 rakats in order because he wants to go to Kaduna. It is appalling, it's unacceptable. And so we can't keep quiet like what my learned colleague John is saying that we should keep quiet, it's too late. No, it is not too late, sir. It is even apt. We cannot continue to keep quiet. We must come up and challenge the status quo so that we can help them in solving solution. A peaceful country, a peaceful environment is a peaceful nation for me and you and for everybody. Okay. And we are not just making this particular noise. We are looking for concrete solution to the Nigerian problem.
Okay. Dr. Kundayo, what's your take on how they plan to run this shadow government?
Well, my take is that for me, they are set on it. They could make it something that could be, remarkable in a sense, not confrontational. You see, because government may look at it like any shadow government that, oh, okay, these people are out to confront us, But really, for me, the aspect I want them to look at, I've said that, but let me now share more light. It's about the followership. You see, what are the people's yearnings? What are their feelings? What have they not been getting from government? 16 years of PDP, now almost about 7 years of APC, that they felt, is it, what are they should do more of research. That's where I'm going now. You see, that's what will help them. And thank God they have Edgar is there, Dr. Tanko is there, Professor Pazutomi is there. The conscientious one that they will do is it right all the states, factor in people in Borno State, in Yobe State, Zamfara, all these places, Ebonyi, Anambra, like in the southeast now, the agitation there, even in the southwest, factor in all this, get all this. Now, one thing the shadow government could do also is, okay, what is the type of leader you will want to lead you? They can factor in all this.
Well,
then let me just finish. They still need to build a political platform that is robust. You see, because like I have said, it's normally the two major political parties that either of them win an election. Go and look at it. So if you say third force, we will still be back to square one. We will analyze ideas. You see, so that's why I asked initially, what will be the outcome? You will analyze all this, it will just be there, there in the public domain. But what can we make out of it? And here we have the youth budge. We have the youth population budging and causing problems, like we had the EXAS last year. So how can we forestall this in the future? That's what the third force is supposed to be. To actually, center and focus on.
They also talked about getting information from using information that is available to government to come up with alternative policies that will be effective and efficient in solving the nation's problems. How do you see that working out?
Well, the thing is, you can get these ideas from me. It's like maybe I appoint you, like we had one former Nigerian president who said, well, I just appoint you as advisor. It doesn't mean if you advise me, I will take your advice. So all these ideas could be there, Dr. Tanko. And the Minister of Petroleum Resources, we just put all that. Imagine now Nigeria investing more. We want to invest about 30% of our profit into exploring oil. That by 10 years' time, Europe will be dumping second-hand cars here because they will be using electric cars in 10 years. You see, we are still building, we are still investing more and more on refineries, on oil exploration. So if you give me ideas now on sustainability for instance, I don't really buy into it because my policy that I'm investing in now, is anti all this one you are giving me. So your distance will just be there. Like we have so many research studies done by institutions, by universities, on the shelf. And they are paper tigers. It's not that Nigerians we don't have cerebral researchers and intellectuals. But what we are saying is you may have these ideas, but at the end of the day, until you begin to bring in people who will now make change happen, we will still continue to talk like this and talk like this. So that's why I'm saying, as a fellowship researcher, let's go, because elections are here now.
But, so just a second there, Dr.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how getting information that is available to government and that government has used to work until now, I'm wondering how that will play out in the hands of NCF front, this shadow government, having that same information and coming up. Do you think they will have all the information that is available to government? Do you think they'll be able to get all the information that is available to government? Don't forget that every successive opposition party has had, look, we know that this is what they have. We know this is the amount of money. All the conversations around, what's the word now, the fuel subsidy and all of that, all that information was supposed to be in public domain. But for one reason or the other, the government of the day then was working in a particular tangent. And when the opposition party took over, we know what has happened. First, we said there was no fuel subsidy, and now the same government has been paying fuel subsidy, and we're struggling to get out of it. So how will this government, for instance, this shadow government, be able to use the same information that government has and be able to come up with alternative solutions that will do better?
In fact, let me just say this first, and that is this information. I worked in government before I retire. There are certain things that there's what you call oath of secrecy. You see, so Right now, they are coming as a shadow government. Already, there will be a signal that will be sent out to government agencies, about these people. They won't read it, they won't know. So they will just see that even some normal thing where they're supposed to get normal information, they just meet a brick wall straight away. You see, so
But there is the Freedom of Information
oh,
Act.
yes, it's there. It's there. Nobody will dispute that. But then the thing is, I'm your boss, I'm your director, and I'm saying this department, nothing must filter out. And of course, it will not be written in black and white. It will not be in any circular. You see, but that's how government works. It's not just in Nigeria.
But is that how government is supposed to work?
Well, it's not how it's supposed to. That's why it will not be written in black and white. So that's why I'm saying that they need to really prepare. More will be given to them. You see, Dr. Tango, more will be given to you if you go the way of research, rather than you are waiting for information from government.
Interestingly,
At this dying time.
Dr. Tanko is an academic. Professor
Pastor
Pastor
Tomi,
Tomi is an
yeah,
academic.
yeah.
So, but then let me allow him respond to these things you've raised yourself. Dr. Tanko, go ahead.
Thank you very much, learned scholar. The truth here is this. Let us be clear on this. The federal government of Nigeria had beckoned on all Nigerians to come on board to help in solving solutions. This is in the public domain. So what we are just doing is responding to that particular clarion call as good citizens. And we are not confronting the government in any way. The state is our own. We are part of the state. But what we are against is the policies of government that have not brought dividends of democracy to the Nigerian people. So in a way, we are helping out while preparing ourselves to take over leadership, because power is not permanent. It transits from one place, one person to another. And with regard to research, I can authoritatively tell you, we have very erudite and very deep thinking individuals. You remember when we challenged the status quo as regard to the amendment of the Electoral Act, Professor Jega and all other well-meaning scholars came and then preferred solutions. And then when we are talking about political mobilization, the same Professor Jega, Professor Pat Tomi, and all other well-meaning professors did a lot of research, and before they presented papers to us. At the moment now, I can authoritatively tell you that our research team are working very hard on how to give us an acceptable political party that all of us can mobilize towards. So Nigerians should watch out. What we are just doing is what is constitutionally right, as enshrined in the charter that the Nigerian government signed to, with the freedom of expression and fundamental human right for us to express our positions and finding solution to the problem of the country. In a way, also not sitting down and waiting till we have been engulfed by the challenges in our country. What we are doing now is calling on all Nigerians who have what it takes to find a solution to the Nigerian problem to come on board, to give us ideas, just like as you are doing, sir. You have told us that we need to go back to the grassroots. I assure you we are on the grassroots. So this, your consultancy that you are giving to us, is not free. We are thanking you very much for it. And I can assure you we will administer it for the benefit of Nigeria, so that you can travel to Kaduna and Sokoto without having to wear a shirt and trouser. And I, Yunus Etanko, can travel to the south without having to wear, thinking about if I wear a bebariga, somebody will lynch me. Nigeria is one, and we're working to rescue Nigeria from the hands of decay and incompetency.
Well, speak to the issues raised around oath of secrecy, which is, as he said, sometimes unwritten. Some boss somewhere, from what Dr. Okunaya has said, can just sit somewhere and say, nothing leaves this office without my say-so. If you meet such brick walls of information, irrespective, he also said it, of the Freedom of Information law that is effective now in our nation, what happens?
It is interesting and expected that, yes, there are some information that will be kept secret by the government. But don't forget, the people that are working with government are Nigerians too. And so if their doors have been broken in the middle of the night by a bandit, they will be forced to give out information that they know that we can be able to use in solving the problems of the country. That is not to say that we are asking them to breach their oath of secrecy, but they can also share information that can help them to help us to secure the country and secure their lives. How would you have felt happy? Would you feel happy? Remember at a point in time when the state was being challenged by this bandit close to Niger State, and even in Abuja, as it were, the security was tightened all around the capital territory. There was accusation or insinuation that probably they are trying to run the seat of government. So at that point in time, would you now say this particular information is secret or not? We were expected as Nigerians to protect yourself. That is your first fundamental right as a human being to do to the state. So when there are issues that concerns you and I, believe me, everybody will be ready to share those information for the benefit of the people. Ours is just to also bring it out and provide ideas and solutions. And at the end of it all, who will be the beneficiary until when you have a stable and acceptable nation, and then that is when you can contest election. But when the issue of the country, the state itself is being challenged, you cannot sleep, you cannot eat, you cannot go anywhere. Who are you going to contest election to? So,
Dr. Tako, there's something I would like you to speak. I would like you to speak with.
In the nearest future.
Yes, there's something that Dr. Gnero raised that I'd like you to speak to, and that is the challenge of followership. You know very well that over the years, people have been grossly disappointed. I mean, you will make promises to the people, those promises are not kept as and when due, and someone else comes, makes even more outlandish promises, and they get into position and those promises are not kept, and now NC Front is saying we are a shadow government, we're all for you, we want you to trust us, and what's the assurance that people are even going to give NC Front's shadow government the time of day? People have been disappointed so many times. The trust quotient between the people and the political class generally, irrespective of whether they're in government or not, is highly depleted. How do you intend to not just mobilize, but earn trust?
Well, if you remember, Ayo, we've been on these issues for quite a long time, and even to a point that people have also kind of crystallized us as continuous, repeated failures of not being able to achieve something for the Nigerian people. And for me, it became a challenge. And I know quite a lot of other persons. Interestingly, the platform in which we use has been overfilled and overrun with a lot of people who are just looking to make sure that they join us. And it may interest you to know that in terms of mobilization, we are trying to ensure that every part of this country is involved and making sure that everybody is given an opportunity. And the promises that we are made, we have been consistent. We have been consistent.
Hello, good morning.
We've been consistent championing the cause of democracy and the issue of making sure Nigerian people get the best thing that is supposed to be for them. And with all due respect to the press have been galvanizing us in every way they can. Any moment they see our gathering, the next thing that they will tell you is that a new political party has been formed. When we came out, the NCF came out, it was everywhere, a new political party and formed, even though we have not declared ourselves as a party. When the Rescue Nigerian project came out, the next thing that you heard that they have formed themselves into a political party, this is a new political party. That is to tell you that Nigerians are eager to have us on board. And so we have presented ourselves, and by the time we announce the political party in no distant time, I think Nigerians who are tired of the Sesame Twins and hoping for a new platform based on our track records, what we've been able to achieve with the little opportunities that we've had, our consistencies on the street, our challenges that we've already put, we've always been on the side of the people. Okay. And I'm not saying that it's only my idea or ideas of Professor Pat Tony or ideas of Professor Jega only that can be taken. We are saying that we've opened our doors for you to give us good ideas that can help our nation. Okay. If you give us this idea and we vuvuzela it and bring it out to the front burner, it is only going to help me and you, so that we can sit down in our rooms and our homes and drink coffee or probably a handmade fruit juice, so that we'll not be afraid that the next minute that you have somebody busting into your house without rules and order. Okay. And that is what we want. We want to have a secured nation.
Okay, well, Dr. Kinayo, how do you see it finally now? Do you see this playing out the way it is intended or designed?
Well,
how hopeful are you?
About the third force, about the National Conservative Front, I'm not really as hopeful. It's about towards the end, Dr. Tanko, I know, actually allayed a little bit of my concern. That's about, reaching out to some Nigerians, and they are saying, oh, are you having a new political party coming up? That is what they should latch on now. You see, and it should not be too late. It's not about all the shadow government, you want to run with them throughout 2022, you waste time. It is what they should latch on now. By the first quarter, they should have their own agenda. I supposed to hear that. You see, they should have their own time schedule that people will be looking at. By end of first quarter, we're having a new party coming out, or it's an existing platform, whatever. You see, and then they need to have a solid distant program for the youth also to galvanize them, to bring them in, so that, is it because democracy is a game of number?
Well, from all of your indications, I'm pretty sure that Dr. Tanko is going to be reaching out to you because this pro bono is quite expensive.
It is because it costs me some money. It costs me some money and time to
Dr.
get
John
this.
Ekudayo is a Harvard-certified organizational strategist and leadership development consultant. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And we've also been speaking with Dr. Yunus Atanko, who is head Public Affairs Bureau, National Consultative Front. Thank you also for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Amen. I say amen to that. So we're back after now to take on another issue of equal importance. Do stay with us.